Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Casual Chaos. Today I've got one of my castmates and friends in my chair, Riley Burruss. Riley's an NYU grad building her own lane in the music industry. She has a passion for DJing, and yes, she grew up in the Bravo universe as Kandi Burruss's daughter. This season put her through it, and she's come out on the other side. Riley, welcome to Casual Chaos.
Thank you. Hey guys.
So we've done a whole season together, and now you're sitting in my chair on Casual Chaos. What's it been like watching this year back?
You know, it's been a lot re-watching everything. You knew after the fact, but, you know, I was going through a lot of things, family drama, all of that, you know, growing up, graduating, figuring out what I'm doing next. But, you know, I learned, I grew, I conquered, I think.
I think doing this show, too, it makes us see ourselves from a different lens. And once we watch it back, we realize things we want to change, things we want to do better, and kind of just how we handle situations.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing, what I related to most throughout this season, is dealing with family things in the public. Because it's not easy. And I think it's a pressure that nobody really understands. And I thought it was really cool the way that you talked about it on the show and kind of let people in a little bit, because I know that can be hard.
Yeah, I think that's also something that viewers and supporters don't see all the time, is that we have to respect our family's privacy and what they're going through, and also go through it ourselves. So we can't immediately be like, hey, you guys, yeah, my parents are going through a divorce, or my parents are doing this. You have to wait until they're ready to be public with it to talk about it on camera and in front of everyone. So it's difficult.
It is, because it's their story. Even when things are out there about my family, I can't speak about it until they're ready, or until we're allowed to speak on it. So, you know, I think it's not our story to tell, even though we might be going through it behind the scenes. Half the time they don't know what's really going on in our heads. But you fully leaned into being a corporate baddie. You really embrace the fashion. You embrace being a corporate baddie. Working at record labels, doing the 9 to 5. What is it about that world that you love?
I think my favorite thing is, like, not only am I a corporate baddie and everything, but I love school and I love the structure it gives you, because you know me, like, I'll wake up at like 3 p.m. and be like, la-di-da-di-da. But when I know I have something due at a certain time, like, I'm like, okay, let me lock in, let me get my work done, and it just, like, is so much easier for me.
I mean, you're giving corporate baddie today.
Thanks. Yeah. I'm like, my ADHD was like messing with me, but it's okay.
Everyone probably assumed that you would follow in your mom's footsteps in the music industry in an obvious way, but you found your own lane on the business side. Was doing it differently a conscious choice?
A little bit. I think, you know, you probably relate to this. When you have to like follow in your parents' footsteps, there's like so much pressure, and it's like, okay, can I live up to this like icon, this like amazing person who's worked so hard for all of this? Like, can I really achieve that? And so part of it is also just my mom is way better at a lot of things than I am. But I know I'm an entertainer, I'm a storyteller, I'm a joker, but the singing and all of that is not for me. And I learned from a very young age, I am not a performer. So
she enjoys being on the stage. She loves, you know, she loves the crowds, and that's something that, you know, so not everyone has that. And I mean, just even knowing that that is still a passion of yours, and that you still enjoy the music industry, but you found your own lane, it still shows that you were inspired by her, but you were inspired in a different way. Yeah. Which I think is so cool. Like, my mom loves chefing it up in the kitchen. Sure, I love chefing it up, but I don't think I'm making 4 cookbooks, you know? Yeah,
exactly. Like, I'm like, I can take maybe a note from your book, but I can't do the whole book.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I, you know, chose the avenue of let me open up this restaurant to still bring on the family legacy, have my mother's influence in it, but the business side is more the business entertainment of like having a fun, lively restaurant, that seemed more enjoyable to me.
Yeah.
So there's like all little things that we take from our parents, but it's how we make it into our own.
I agree.
Law school was the plan. And now
same
you're
for you, right?
Yep, same for me. And I think it's funny because I wonder if you feel this way. When we speak something into the universe, it's almost like it has to stick.
Yeah, that is very true, because I have also seen people talk to you about, oh, well, why didn't you stick with this thing? And I feel like people forget that we can change our minds. We can shift what we want to do. We're still learning. We're young. So I do think that it adds an extra layer of pressure.
For sure.
Because I'm like, yeah, like I have said, sorry, let me speak correctly. But I have said so many times about how I wanted to do law school and everything. And it's like, maybe one day I want to do marketing. Maybe one day I want to do, law or entertainment, whatever. But yeah, definitely once you say something, you have to stick with it in our lives.
And it definitely does form that pressure. I mean, I said I wanted to be a lawyer when my family was going through their legal stuff. At that point, I was in 6th grade, maybe 7th. I was like 12 or 13. And I just felt like, okay, this is cool. I feel like I can really strive in this field. And I enjoyed it full-heartedly throughout college and everything. But then when opportunities also are thrown at you where you see the option to maybe go down a different path, it's intriguing. And I think that's the whole point of us being in our 20s is we are figuring it out. So even though I'm sure law school is still a passion of yours, I'm sure it's something that still piques your interest, but where is your head right now with it?
Oh, I'm applying right now. But I do think that people forget we sometimes get so busy. Like we had this show come out, we were filming. It's hard to study for law school and film every single day and not know what your schedule is going to look like the next day.
100%.
So people forget those things. And so it's like, I am still applying, but at the same time, we're booked and busy.
We are. And when I was studying for my LSATs, my tutor would watch me run on to the Zooms for tutoring and be 5 minutes late because if I was running from something else. And she looked at me and was like, law school is a full-time job.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing.
And that's when it that's when it scares you a little bit because it's like, I also don't want to go into something and fail.
Yeah.
And then I feel like that's more discouraging than at least, we're trying it right now. But if it maybe doesn't work out right now, I'll do it down the line.
Exactly.
Maybe. I feel like we all could have our Kim K moment.
Have time. Exactly.
We have time. But you also really have a passion for DJing as well. Do you think that is a path that you really want to pursue or something that you just enjoy on the side?
No, I just enjoy it. I love music. I love entertainment. And it's really just something that, when my friends come over, I want to, drop some beats, do that. But I don't think I would be the best DJ or whatever, internationally working all of those jobs. But I
don't
love
say
DJs.
that. I feel like you
let
could
me not
totally
say that.
do it. I mean, look at Meredith, Dorinda, Erica Jane, all of these housewives that are now DJing and going global.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
is true.
you can totally do it. And listen, it's not this isn't something that they probably do full time. But I mean,
yeah, I think
they're bringing in the cash and they're having fun with it too.
Period. Well, if anyone wants to book me for a corporate event or any kind of event, I'm here. I'm available.
You know the amount of Bravo events you would get?
True. I just wouldn't want to embarrass myself.
You wouldn't. Just like you said, when you lock in, you lock in.
Yeah, that is true. I do.
And also, I don't think your mother would let you go out there without knowing what you were doing.
That's true. She'd be like, did you prepare? Are you ready? What songs are you playing? How are you doing it? It'd be a whole thing.
But you grew up on Real Housewives of Atlanta from the time you were 7. What was it like having your whole childhood documented and now doing it again as an adult on your own show?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a little bit difficult because, I had a few family things that were on TV, not even just a few, but like, having everything so public really, sometimes it was difficult for me, you know. It was learning, but one thing I will say, a con and a pro for having your life on TV is that, one, at least you hear all of the shade and everything before you get an adult. So now it's like, hate comments don't really affect me as much than it would probably someone else.
It really does teach us how to have thick skin.
Yeah, very thick skin. But a con is the fact that you not only have to live through that, but then live through it on TV and then see it years later forever. It's tough sometimes, but I don't really care as much anymore, I don't think. So, yeah.
I think also when you're younger, I mean, I definitely went through ups and downs where I was totally into filming and then I was totally not into it at all.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like this up and down thing where it's like when you feel good in it and you feel comfortable in it, you're fine doing it. But then when it gets a little uncomfortable and feels like it's getting really invasive, especially at a young age, it's hard to tackle that. You know, because you're also trying to protect your mental health, balance your emotions, but then also have it on TV. You know, it's very hard. And for us doing it with our moms, I know they took the brunt of it, but we were still kids growing up and maturing and just realizing
puberty,
realizing like what we were even, I guess, signed up for. It's like we were wrapping our head around it, but it's like, it's kind of like strange.
Yeah, it is.
But you and I are both legacy kids with our whole lives on TV since we were little. You on Atlanta, me on Jersey. Do you expect us to be a certain way because of that? And is there something about growing up like this that people don't understand?
I think one thing that we get that other people like on our cast or, you know, don't necessarily agree on is that there's, you know, that unspoken but spoken rule about don't bring up family members or something like that. Like, that's off limits. I think that's a good thing. But
I'm happy we have that on our cast.
Yeah.
Even though it might get broken sometimes.
Sometimes. Yeah, I don't honestly think we act that much different than everyone else, which people don't agree on. But, you know, I would agree. We're all young, just having fun.
I agree. But is there something about growing up on reality TV that maybe we only get?
I mean, yeah, I think the hate comments, the wanting us to appear as our parents, I think that's a big thing. And I think just the fact that we had to really go through so much at a young age. And I think a lot of people go through this a little bit later. And it is a little tough having, you know, puberty and all this stuff and growing and not only having to deal with that, but also deal with people who are throwing shade at you, like grown adults throwing shade at you online throughout everything. It's like, it makes it 10 times worse, I think.
I agree. Even for our siblings, for everything, it's this expectation of wanting, you really feel like you have to please everybody else, but it's like trying to also figure out how to please yourself in the process.
Yeah, I mean, I think I learned that a little bit younger. I've had so many conversations with my mom where I'm like, I'm having to get to the point where I have to be okay with making other people uncomfortable so that I can have like a good mental health. And that sounds very wrong when I say it out loud. Okay, but I mean, like, I have to be okay putting my mental health first. And it takes a lot to get to that point. You know, I had to start therapy really young with everything that, you know, we have to go through with TV.
Yeah, no, and I think therapy, it really is a work of art. It really is.
Yeah, literally.
We talked about this all last night. I mean, I think it is really a blessing for some people, and then for other people, maybe it's harder for them to get into. But I really do think it helps a lot.
Yeah, it does.
But let's talk about Christian. You're Christian. He's a private, not a spotlight guy, and you've said it's just easy with him. What made you let people see a little bit of him this season, and what does easy feel like after a life lived on TV?
I think what brought me to being open about my relationship was just the fact that, I wanted to show more of my life and be vulnerable. And what easy looks like is I wake up with a smile on my face. I don't stress about anything. If I have anything to say, I call him and just talk things out with him. And he's just such an understanding person.
Easy's good. Easy is what we need in our lives, honestly. Exactly. We don't need complicated. This season got a little heated, and you've said publicly you're a little embarrassed about how things went. What was it like watching yourself back in some of those moments?
I think, it was embarrassing, and I think it was tough because, all this happened last year. And
I think that's the thing that's a little tricky too, and that people, we have to relive it months later.
Exactly. And it's even if I made changes since that time, I still have to look at it again and be like, wow, that's insane. And then I do think that you guys were all trying to be nice about it. So I really didn't think everything was that bad.
Well, you never want to make your friend feel worse than it is the next day. So you're like, it's fine. We've all been there. And it's true. We all have. We all have. We've all had those nights in our 20s. And I think as much as we all have probably went over our limit, it's also about learning. And that's also something very real that so many people do face when they're drinking. Not only in their 20s, people when they're older, all age groups face this. But and
then having other people see it publicly and all of that is just a lot. And I just think that there's a lot of layers to a lot of things that people don't always see. We have filming, we have moments in front of the camera, off camera that we talk about and deal with. So I feel like people don't see everything,
Yeah. And, in the beginning of the season, people obviously didn't know what you were going through.
Yeah.
They learned about it a little bit more towards the middle of the season. Yeah. But again, that was going on in your life, but just nobody knew about it yet.
Yeah, I think the only person that actually knew, even in our friend group, was Ariana. I think no one else knew, so everyone was so confused with my actions and why I was being so crazy and confusing, and it was I didn't really open up to anyone. So yeah, there's
it takes a minute.
Layer too. Yeah,
I was looking out for you, girl. I was
Thanks.
You got this. It's our moms are gonna kill us.
I'm my mom's gonna text your mom what happened?
You've talked about being done not standing up for yourself throughout this season. Where's the line between defending yourself and letting something get the best of you?
That's a great question. I'm still figuring that out. I think the line really is, I honestly think I'm still figuring that out.
Yeah. I think it's hard. I think it's so unpredictable because you're really not going to know what scenario just sends you over the edge. But it could also be the littlest thing. Yeah. And why did that little thing make me so angry? I don't know. But we'll deal with it tomorrow.
Yeah, but I think I agree with that. And I also think there are times now where sometimes I have that same conversation and I'll talk to my friends and my boyfriend and everyone and be like, wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. That's crazy. And then I'll have to really sit back and reflect. And I'm that shouldn't have done that to you. Yeah. What do you mean?
And it's weird. I think it's hard, especially while filming our show, but also just dealing with everyday stuff. I think our biggest thing that we are taught is to not let things affect us and to
a poker face.
Yes. And be the bigger person, stand strong and just keep it moving, act unbothered. But going through life like that all the time, eventually, yes, and eventually you're going to get bothered. And eventually, you know, maybe exactly that one little thing that really wouldn't bother you on a normal day bothered you today. And it's very unpredictable, but it's just, I guess, a process of us learning just how to handle our emotions and work through it. But it's a day by day thing. I feel like it's hard. It doesn't, who knows what we're dealing with this day? Because I mean, things pop up every day, right?
Exactly. It's like you might have gotten one text message that morning and now you're like lashing out or saying something rude to someone else who has nothing to do with it.
I know. So things with you in Georgia really boiled over. Looking at it now, is there anything that you think you would do differently?
I would do everything differently. I would do everything differently for sure.
But you and Georgia now are in a good place.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that's the thing that people don't realize. Me and her, like, when we have these snarky comments to each other, we just laugh at each other. Like, we kind of have a running joke. So people don't realize that we're literally fine.
Yeah. And honestly, we both said it. We both say it all the time. Georgia can take it.
Yeah.
God bless her. I mean, maybe sometimes, you know, she doesn't always deserve it. And not even just from you, from other people. Yeah. And she does a very good job of somebody who wasn't in this industry just kind of moving on.
And I think there's like one part that I do want to say. I already, you know, I apologize a million times.
There was some things at play. And then, you know, the next day you took accountability right away. You've also taken accountability throughout the season. So
and that's I've talked to her even since the like episode came out. And me and her are good. Like when we were at the event, like we were hanging out and I think people were so surprised. And I'm like, we are all good.
We're all good. Yeah. We move on quickly in this group.
That's true. I think that is one thing about our generation that we do so good is the fact that even if we do mess up, we can have a conversation and talk things through and let each other know what made us upset or whatever and how to move forward. I think that's really cool of us.
You and Ariana also hit a rough patch this season around the Georgia situation. You felt like she didn't step in fast enough. You've both said since that you're still besties, she's still your girl. You're just relearning each other in different life phases. Where does it actually feel like you two are right now?
I mean, we're good. You know, we hung out. Like, all of us are cool. And, you know, I feel like we're all going through this, like, tough time figuring out how to navigate TV and social media and friendships. But I think we learned a lot, not just from that situation, but just having conversations with us, like each other.
Yeah. Honestly, communication is key.
Exactly.
I also saw a clip of your mom recently, and I just didn't know if you wanted to touch on this at all. But regarding this whole situation, you were experiencing a lot of hate. And I think people don't realize, you know, what comes with that. You know, it probably took a big toll on your mental health. And I just want to also say something, you know, hate is never the answer because you don't know how somebody's feeling afterwards. You don't know what the person is going through afterwards, and you don't know what they're experiencing in real time. So I just want to say I'm sorry for that because that probably wasn't easy and probably felt like it was a big hump.
I think for me, I got a lot of hate. I know, and I've even spoken to Ariana about this, but when she said on Watch What Happens Live about how I didn't reach out after the episode aired, it was genuinely because my number somehow got leaked or something, and I got racist, like, texts. And so I had to literally turn off my phone for a week. So yeah, and honestly, personally, I know we spoke about this, a week ago, but for me, I feel like it's okay to call me certain things. Like, I get it. The way I showed up on TV was really not okay, and I get some of the comments. But when it comes to, like, race, like, all of those things, like the microaggressions, that's not okay. And I don't appreciate that. But if you want to call me a spoiled brat, honestly, I did look like a spoiled brat. I'm not going to lie. I agree. But I don't appreciate the text about me being a black B word or the N word. Like, that's not cool.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry you had to go through that. And I hope going forward, everyone online just really takes a step back, because sometimes, and I think this is the biggest thing, that our parents have always taught us too. The biggest cowards are the ones behind the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, that's true. I haven't heard any of that to my face. But yeah. And I think the interesting thing is, I feel like when people meet us in person, they're so surprised by how nice and caring we are. And then they go on social media or see a clip or two, and they make all these assumptions. But I'm like, really? We're very sweet people.
They judge your whole personality based on one incident.
Yeah.
And that's where I think it's hard, and it's a difficult place to navigate, because one little mess up,
and it's over. Yeah.
But don't worry.
Yeah.
You're already coming. You came back. You already came back. It's done, and it's in the dust.
I hope so. I mean, let's check our DMs, and I promise you that's not what I'm receiving, but it's okay.
It'll blow over, I promise.
Yeah.
I think taking accountability and ownership is the first step, and you've done that beyond. So that's all you need to do. You had a talk with Shai where you told him that people in our friend group are really acquaintances, and it left him second guessing everyone. What did you see that made you say that, and do you stand by that?
At the time, yes, I do stand by that. And what I saw, I feel like a lot of people were telling me things behind the scenes that they weren't saying to his face. And one thing I have said to, like, everyone is that it's one thing to say something behind their back that you would say to them, and a different thing to show up differently than what you're portraying behind the scenes. I did not tell him any names, so let's, make sure that's clear. But I do think that I heard several things from different people that was different than how they were showing up to him.
Yeah. And I think that's very fair to say. I also think, I think I've even had a conversation with Shai before, especially first season. Some of us knew each other very well, where some of us didn't. And at the end of the day, yes, this is our job. So sometimes you have to show up to work. You have to show up for what you're responsible for doing, and you play nice. Eventually, you grow and form these relationships that do form into friendships.
Yeah.
But especially season 1, and that conversation was pretty early on into season 2. Some people...
I don't think... Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah.
Like, we were still forming the friendships that we have today. Our friendships and our group as a whole is totally different than going into season 2. Yeah. And that comes with time. So in that moment in time, you were just being real.
Yeah,
you were like
trying to be a good friend with that. Like, I was trying to be a good friend to him and the people who had said these things. So I didn't want to tell any names, but I also wanted to let him know, you got to show up a little bit more. You got to have more conversations with these people. And, so these friendships can bond. And I mean, clearly the conversation worked, because he's besties with everyone now.
Yeah, that's my point. It just takes a little push. And then he really did. I got to give it to him. He put himself out there. He really did.
And see, BravoCon, he was besties after. Right?
Besties with everyone. Very close. Your mom's been vocal and always in your corner through everything. How much do you lean on her when things get tough?
I lean on her so much, like 1,000,000,000%, and she knows how I am, clearly. So sometimes she'll give me the tough love. Sometimes she'll give me the sweet love, depending on, how I'm feeling. But she knows how it is. She's been doing this since she was like 16. So she understands the public eye and now how it's changed, even with social media and everything.
It's crazy how much it's changed.
Yeah.
I think, and our moms know us better than anyone.
Yeah.
So they're going to give it to us straight.
Yeah.
Away from all the noise, what does the dream version of your career look like 5 years from now?
Honestly, I would say I would have my own marketing firm. I would, really lean into that because I really love marketing. And even, sometimes like if Shai says something about his fashion brand, I'm like, okay, are you wearing your clothes today when we do the reunion or this episode? Like, wear your clothes, And same with Burruss, like both of them. It's like I love marketing. So, yeah, I really want to lean into marketing way more.
What do you want people to actually understand about you by the end of this season?
I want people to understand that, yes, I mess up. And yes, I'm not saying this is going to be the last time I mess up. But I want to learn so much and I want to grow so much. So I'm always here for a conversation, a lesson learned, you need to grow conversation. And yeah, but I'm like, you never have to be nervous about me being open to that. I'm not very stubborn. Actually, that was a lie. I am very stubborn.
I was like, Riley.
I am stubborn, but when it comes to things like that will help me grow as a person, I always want you to tell me. Always. And yeah, period.
I love that.
Yeah.
To self-growth.
Yeah, self-growth.
Oh, Riley, thank you so much for coming on Casual Chaos.
I hope I gave a little bit of casual and a little bit of chaos.
You did.